Hi everyone, welcome back, welcome to my channel. My name is Christina. If you're new here, if you're not, welcome back. But in today's video we are doing a video that I am doing quarterly. Let's go through my wrap-ups. Let's go through all the books I've read in the past 3 months. So this is April, May and June. You can check out January, February and March in the previous video, which I will have it all in a playlist with my TBRs for you. But we have had a slower 3 months than the previous, not by too many. Like, there's not much difference in the amount of books, apart from there is a slight difference, but I think I've read some really good books in the past 3 months. So let's go through them. Let's already start off with April reads. So I always find that April is a month that has so many new releases that I'm so excited for. Actually this April I was in a massive reading slump, which was not very helpful with getting down my TBR or getting through all the new releases, but we did end up reading quite a few books. We ended up reading 7 books in April, which I mean is a pretty good number. It's not like it was significantly lower or anything like that. So these are the 7 books that we read. So let me talk through them. So the first book that I read in April was The Girlfriend Agreement by Rowan Craft. This is an indie romance that I really enjoyed. It takes place at Conwick University and we are following Lexi and Damien, and basically Damien wants a fake girlfriend and Lexi wants the money. You have this book and it's so good. Like I said, I was in a major reading slump when I read this book. So yeah, I really did enjoy this book. Obviously I was in a reading slump. It did take me slightly longer to read. I don't know whether that was because I was in a reading slump or whether because the chapters are very long in this book. I think it's got like 30 something chapters and it's over 400 pages, so the chapters are longer in this, and sometimes that did mean that I struggled to get through the chapters, but I really enjoyed our characters and the way that the plot went in this book, and I'm very excited for the next one. So 4 stars. Then we ended up going to Moonstruck by Holly Jukes. This is the 3rd book in the Liberty Grove series, which I absolutely love. I've read all of Holly Jukes' books as of right now, and the 4th and final book in this series I think is coming out soon. I don't know yet, because I do have a theory she might have been trad published because she had to cancel all her pre-orders for book 4. So that is my guess. But this is Moonstruck. This is book 3. This is a bodyguard and an influencer romance, and it was so much fun. This is a 4.5 star. I love Cora and I loved Marcus, and I just think I love a bodyguard. Need I say more? This was so good. Then we read the 3rd book in the Darling Devils, the Darling Brothers, the Darling series. This was Wild Darling. In this book we follow the 3rd brother Parker, as well as Kenzie, who Parker is his brothers have just gone off and he is now trying to make the team what it is without having all the Darling brothers together, and Kenzie is a goalie but her dad is the coach and doesn't want her to play. This is a cute YA ice hockey romance. If you want YA ice hockey romances, I definitely would recommend this series. This was a 4 star. And then we read probably my most anticipated release of the first probably quarter of the year, I'm not gonna lie. We have Release Me by Tara Maffey. This is the 2nd book in the New Republic series. It is the spin-off series of the Chat Me series, which I love so much, and this series follows James and Rosabelle as we see a lot of our older characters from the Chat Me series, and then we have some new girls and we love them. So yeah, this is Release Me. I absolutely loved this book. I don't want to say anything in fear of spoiling it by accident, but this was a 4.75, potentially a 5 star, because I have thought about it so many times. But this is the 2nd book and book 3 is coming out this year and I cannot wait. But I'm a sucker. This is a YA dystopian book series and I love it so much. And then I read The Lies That Summon the Night by Tessonja Odette. See, this book I didn't love. This was a 2-star read. I did audiobook and physically read this, but honestly I just didn't vibe with it. I don't know why. It wasn't the writing, because I've read from Tessonja Odette before. I've read her indie series, the Entangled with Fae series, and there's quite a few of her backlist that I really want to read. I actually recently ordered one of her other books as well, but this is her first published adult. I think, well, I know her other books are adult, but this was an adult and I didn't vibe with it. I'm not a massive fan with the way it went. I finished it for the plot. I enjoyed the plot, but I didn't really care for our characters or anything. But yeah, that lies at something like 2 stars. And then we read another, and our 5-star read of the month. We read The Thorn Queen by Sasha Payton Smith. I absolutely loved The Rose Bargain last year. Devoured it, could not put it down, and this was the exact same. I loved it. I love our characters, I love the world, I love the way it is. If you don't know, the Rose Bargain, this series, is like Bridgerton society in England of 1848, with a fey queen that's on the throne who makes bargains with people with the girls when they join this, like join essentially the season of trying to find a husband, and it's so good. And we carry on from the end of book 1, and it's so good. I love a YA book, and I especially love a YA fantasy with some romance in there, because the yearning is always top tier. Then the final book that we read in the month of April was A Bond So Fierce and Fragile by Sophia St. Germain. This is the 3rd book in the Compelling Fate saga, which I really enjoyed this book. Not unfortunately, because I mean, I feel like I love this series, but book 1 was a 4.5, book 2 was a 5-star, and I went into this thinking it would be a 5-star, and it wasn't. It was a 4.5. Not that it's a bad rating, but I thought going in, because book 2 was such a good read and I absolutely loved it. But yeah, I really enjoy this series. I thought it was a really good series. You will see that I have read book 4. But yeah, this was a 4.5. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way the plot continued, and how the characters and how the world continued. So they were the 7 books I ended up reading in the month of April, which I think I had a really, really good reading month in April. I mean, our lowest rated book was The Lies at Some of the Night by Tessa Jodet, and our highest rated book was The Thorn Queen, which was a 5-star read. So I mean, I can't really complain. I think this is my highest reading month of the year. I read so many books in May, and so many that I enjoyed, and I am very, very excited to talk through them. So in May, I ended up reading a grand total of 14 books. I read 14 books in the month of May, and this stack is here, and it is so incredibly tall because we read so many. So let me stop yapping and let's talk about all the books that I read in May. So starting off, we have Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell. This was a 2.5 star for me. I do typically really enjoy Lisa Jewell's books. I've read 2 or 3 of them now throughout my reading journey. The first book I did actually pick up was a Lisa Jewell book, but there was something about it, I just couldn't get into it, so then I audiobooked it, and I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't something that I was like, I need to know what happens next. I just felt, I don't know why, I felt like the mystery, thrillery aspect of it didn't feel like it was there, and it just felt, I don't know, it didn't feel, I feel like her other ones always felt a bit eerie, and this just didn't feel eerie, so that's that. But that was a 2.25. So then I started off with the Windy City series, Journey. So this was Mile High by Liz Tom Ford. This is the first book. In this book we are following Sanders and Stevie. I loved this one. Even though I didn't think I would, I honestly went into it with quite low expectations, knowing that people on BookTok do say this is their least favourite of the whole series, and a lot of people say you just need to get through book 1 to read the rest of the series. I didn't know what to expect, but I ended up finishing this book, really enjoying it and giving it a 4-star. So I very much, after reading this, I was like, I want to read more. So going straight into The Right Move, which was also a 4-star. This follows Ryan and Indy, and this was such a good read. This is like brothers, this is best friend's brother, twins best friend kind of vibe. I loved it. So yeah, then we have The Right Move, and then I took a little break from the Windy City series and went into one of my favourite reads. I think this was probably my favourite read from definitely one of my favourite reads, if not my favourite read from May. We have Daughter of Stone by B.A. Pepper. I picked up at Vision Fest and I really, really did want to read it soon, and I'm so happy that I did because I absolutely devoured it and absolutely loved it. In this book we are following, I'm really bad with the names of these characters, but we're following Non, and she is born into a family of witches, but they have to do some sort of thing, some sort of like ritual thing to find out if they have magic, and essentially she doesn't have any power, so then she has to just live her life, and then later on she finds out that she has power, and we go from there, and there's like trials, and there's a hot male main character, and he is absolutely amazing, but I won't spoil anything for you guys. But this was a 4.5. I absolutely love this book, and I cannot wait for book 2, which I've actually been accepted to get the arc for, which I'm so excited about. Can't remember when I'm getting it, but I am getting the arc for it. But this was so good. Everyone needs to read this as well. Daughter of Stone, please read it. Then I continued on the fantasy vibe, and I went into A War of Wyverns by S.F. Williamson. This is the second book in the A Language of Dragons series. I loved book 1. These are like historical YA fantasies with dragons that one girl ends up starting a civil war, and we go from there, and this is so good. I loved book 1, loved book 2. Book 2, I didn't think I was as connected to the characters as I am until I was literally sobbing. But this was a 4.25 star, and I absolutely loved it, and I cannot wait for book 3. I don't know what to say. I loved it. Then I read Weaving Shore, which I absolutely devoured. I loved this book. This was a 4-star read. I audiobooked and read this, and I had the best time with it. So this was actually a book that was recommended to me by Chloe and Laura, and since this, there is now some sort of like gothic fantasy group chat that we all read gothic fantasies and kind of book club-esque. This was the one that we read in May, and I loved it, and a lot of us did love it. I think all of us read it and loved it. This was a 4-star read. It was so good. If you want a gothic fantasy with that, oh, I don't even know how to explain it. It's very good. It's very good. That's all I need to say, and I'm very excited. And I just remember finishing this book and being like, huh? That's the end? Give me book 2 now? So then I went ahead and continued with the fantasy vibe, and we finished off the Compelling Fate saga with A Fate So Dark and Delicate. Unfortunately, this was actually my least favourite of the series. I don't know what happened, but I don't know whether I spaced them out too far, which I don't feel like I did. I don't know whether maybe I just wasn't as connected to the characters as I thought I was. But I really enjoyed the plot of this series, but this book is definitely, I feel like my ranking of the series definitely goes as in lowest to highest. It goes book 4, book 3, book 1, and then book 2. Book 2 is my favourite, and then book 1, I really loved them too. And don't get me wrong, I still love the second 2, but this was just my least favourite of the series. I don't know why. I'm really happy with how the series ended and whether everything is, but I don't know. I don't know whether maybe I just wasn't as connected to the characters as I thought I was. I don't know. But yeah, we read that, and that was a 4.25. And then I thought, oh, I've read quite a few fantasies, let's hop back into the Windy City series, and we read Caught Up, which this was a 4-star read. Absolutely love this. This is Kai and Miller, and I loved their story. And then going into Play Along, because I thought, why not? And this is Kennedy and Isaiah, and I was waiting for their story, and it was so good. And then I thought, why not finish it off? And I read Rewind It Back, which is the final book, which is Rio and Hallie. And throughout the series, we literally meet Rio in book 1, and we see what he's like, and just getting his book at the end was perfect. This is my favourite book in the series. This was a 4.5. I loved this book so much. I don't know what it was, but I absolutely devoured it and loved it. Then I went ahead and did my reread of When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, ready for The Ballad of Fallen Dragons. And this was a reread, so I don't typically change my ratings anyway. But this was a 4.5 stars, and it very much stayed a 4.5 stars. I love this book. Then I read Nightshade by Autumn Woods. We were all reading it in the group chat, and it was the best time because we were all kind of reading it at once. And it was so good. This is now one of my favourite series. I cannot wait for book 2. This was a 4.5 star. I absolutely loved it. I loved Alex and I loved Ophelia, and I cannot wait. And the way this book ends, I remember finishing it, messaging and being like, that's how it ends? I read The X-Files by Jessica Joyce. This was a 4.25 star. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed the way it went. So this is like a second chance romance. So they broke up years ago, and then their best friends are getting married. So, well, their best friend is getting married. So then they come back and they're helping with the wedding, and they rekindle and they talk about what happened and everything, and I really enjoyed this. This was a 4.25. And then I finished off the month of May with one of my May releases that I couldn't wait for, The Ballad of Fallen Dragons by Sarah A. Parker. I loved this book. This was a 4.75 star. I love this series. I love the characters. I love the way this went. I cannot wait for book 3, the third and final book. I am very, very excited to see how it's going to wrap up and the ending of this, and how I'm excited to see how we keep going. I don't know where we're gonna, I know where we're gonna go from here, but I don't know where we're gonna go from here, if that makes any sense at all. But I absolutely loved it. And that was the final book that I read in May. Then going into June, I ended up reading 9 books in the month of June, and I feel like I had quite a good reading month. So we started the month off with Dangerously Ours by Christopher McRitchie. This was a 4.75. This is the final book in the Webs We Weave series, which I absolutely love. This series, I love Christopher McRitchie. If you've seen any of my videos, I probably have spoken about them a lot on my channel, but I absolutely love this series, this world, their writing. I devoured it. 4.75. Then while I was reading that / while I was kind of getting into the next book, I was listening to The Favourites by Lane Fargo. Absolutely loved this book. This was like a 4-star. I had the best time. I just loved, I don't know why, I do love to audiobook books like this. I remember Dangerous and Six is written very similar to this, and I audiobooked that and loved that a few years ago. So I knew I wanted to audiobook this, and I really did enjoy it. I don't know, the drama. I love the drama. There we go. And then we read another one of my May anticipated releases. We have A Queen Crowned in Flames by Hazel McBride. This was a 4.5 star. Absolutely loved this book. Absolutely loved this world. Cannot wait for the next duology. This obviously finishes off the first duology with Amaya, and I absolutely loved it, and I cannot wait. And I devoured this book as much as I could, with getting headaches every time I was reading. But yeah, absolutely loved it. Then I decided to break up the fantasy a little bit with The Rule Breaker by Stephanie Owls. This is an ice hockey romance, and it's gorgeous. This was such a good read. I really enjoyed it for what it is. I really enjoyed it. I think I'm settled on like a 3.75 star with it, but yeah, very good, and I am very much looking forward to reading book 2 in July. Then I read Air of Storms by Lauren Hamilton Murray. This has been on my TBR for so long because this is the Fairy edition. This book has been on my TBR for like a good year. I did enjoy this. As of right now, I don't want to continue the series. I don't know whether maybe it will come to me and I want to. I'm not sure. I enjoyed the plot, I enjoyed what it was, but I don't think it's for me. Which normally I would say it is because of the kind of genre, the type of fantasy, the type of YA fantasy that it is, but I just didn't feel connected to the characters or the storyline. This was a 2.75. I enjoyed it, but I don't think I'm going to be continuing the series, and I'm going to make sure that someone else gets their hands on this stunning Fairy Loot copy of it because it is gorgeous. Then I read probably my favourite book from June. We have A Requiem for Fallen Stars by Hazel S. Wilkes. I devoured this book. I loved this book. It is so good. We have Lyra, who has quite a bad past. She doesn't want to thing on it, but then one day something happens and she finds out she has magic. She's sent to this magical school with her best friend, and they are sent there, and as they are there they have to do trials and things like that. How I kind of say this book kind of is, it's fourth wing without the dragons, kind of just like the school trial setting is what I would say this book is. But I absolutely loved it, and I am continuing this series in July because I cannot physically wait any longer because I need to. It's so good. And then I actually ended up reading a book on my Kindle, which I don't own physically, and this is the only book in this little video that I don't physically own. None other than The Daisy Chain Flower Shop by Laura Gilmore. This was a 2.75, 3-star for me. I really enjoy this series. I think they're fun, easy, quick romance reads, and I definitely needed after reading quite a few fantasies in a row. And I just thought, why not finish, I think this is the end of the series, thought why not finish off the series, get it done, and not have to worry about it. So yeah, I read that. I did really enjoy that. And I ended up finishing a book that I actually started in April, but I finally finished it off in June. We have My Kind of Trouble by Elle McDonald. Honestly, I did enjoy this book. This is like a 3.5. I did enjoy this book. However, I don't think I'm the right target audience for this book. Based on the fact that this is a 30 before 30 list and I've only just turned 20, I feel like the characters are a lot further on in their lives than I am. And normally it doesn't really bother me, but I feel like because it is focusing on doing these things before she turns 30, I feel like I just don't know. I don't know. I feel like I just was not the right target audience for this book, but I did still really enjoy it. I enjoyed our characters, I enjoyed the way the plot was. I just don't think I was the right target audience for this. I don't think I am the right target audience for this, and I feel like if I was a bit older, like 25, 26, even that, I feel like I would have connected to this book a lot more. I feel like I didn't connect to it because I was like, I'm only a child. I'm only just turned 20. I'm just a child. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I enjoyed the romance, and I enjoyed like the travelling aspect of this book. And then I finished off June with Anathema by Kerry Lake. So this is, again, this is a book from that book club kind of thing that we started doing. The first book was Breathing Shore. The second book is Anathema, which I think I'm maybe the only one that's actually finished the book. I don't know, but I did really enjoy this. I solely audiobooked this. I did not read this physically. I solely audiobooked it, but I really enjoyed the audiobook. I'm actually planning to pick up book 2 in July when I have some Audible credits because I used them all. But yeah, I'm very excited to read book 2. The way this book ends, I was like, huh? Again, this book, not normally my vibe. These gothic fantasies tend to get a lower, not a lower rating, but a lower rating in my brain, just because I'm not a gothic fantasy girly. I do love a mystical fantasy. I love a fantasy which isn't set in a dark, gloomy forest, and that's just me. That's just my reading taste, but I do still enjoy a good gothic fantasy, and I still enjoyed this. This was like a 4-star read, 3.75. Like I said, still really enjoyed it, but I am going to continue this series. So that is all of the books that I've read in the past 3 months. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I really hope that maybe you get some recommendations from all of the books that I've read in the past 3 months. But I'll see you again for another one of these in 3 months' time. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!